ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa will provide a comprehensive reflection on the key achievements of the Government of National Unity today. The GNU, comprising of 10 political parties, is marking 100 days since the constituting of the 7th administration in June. The celebration will take place at the ANC's headquarters in Luthuli House in Johannesburg this afternoon. That's where we'll find our senior reporter, Samkele Maseko. Samkele, a very good afternoon to you. As I posed to political analyst Prof. Durka earlier, I would imagine that ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa, in his reflection this afternoon, will probably take this opportunity to allay fears, as it were, and the criticism that speak to how the ANC's centre is just not holding because of the GNU. What can we expect?
Well, Unathi, it is a bit difficult to hear you there on the line, but I would assume that you're asking on one of the points the president of the ANC, when he speaks later on this evening, he will touch on. I will bring in the ANC spokesperson, Mrs. Mahlengu Mutsiri, on the essence of what the president of the ANC will be elaborating on later on this evening at 6 o'clock. First 100 days of the GNU, you are celebrating those who voted for the ANC in the elections. What are some of the highlight points that the ANC president will be speaking on later this evening?
Yes, a very slight correction, which is important to do, Samkelo. The ANC this afternoon is not celebrating, it's reflecting and accounting to the people of South Africa. But having said that, in terms of your question, we expect and we know that the president will highlight how the ANC led Government of National Unity and how the ANC is pursuing its elections manifesto, because remember the 6 million people and those that support the ANC, those that voted and those that did not vote, but they listened to the fact that the ANC committed itself to six electoral priorities. This evening, we expect that we will unpack that detail. Let me make an example. We talk about combating crime and corruption. This afternoon, the president will speak about what measures, practical measures, have been put in place to fight the scourge of crime as well as to fight corruption. Where crime is concerned, we have a lot to talk about given the improvements in policing in our country. Police visibility, many studies are showing that there's an upward trend about the visibility of police in various areas. We can talk about the fact that yesterday we marked 200 days without load shedding, and you probably speak about what measures we put in place to have that becoming a permanent feature in terms of energy security. I'm probably going to speak about the issues that are also in the public domain, such as the national health insurance, having signed it into law, and addressing the discord from some groups about the current makeup of the national health insurance, and of course the Bella bill. Where are we with that? We'll probably speak about what is it that we're going to be doing to protect transformation legislation that has been enacted since 1994. We do hear voices elsewhere suggesting that some of the transformation legislation, such as the broad-based economic empowerment, such as Employment Equity Act, that it must be tinkered with. And we hope that the president will address that matter, because we went to the people of South Africa and said, going into a government and constituting a government of national unity, as we needed to do so, given the circumstances, but we committed that no transformation programs and policies are going to be reversed.
Are you still having the bilateral with the SACP today? That would be the officials. Are they still having that bilateral with the SACP today?
The bilateral with the SACP is meant to take place at 10 a.m. and on the request of on the indication by the SACP, then the bilateral could not continue. I must say that the ANC national officials have been here since 10 o'clock with the expectation that there will be a bilateral. We do trust and hope that there will be a bilateral soon at a time that is convenient to both the party and the ANC. In the meantime, the ANC affirms its ongoing respect for the independence of the party and respect for the role and the historical mission of the tripartite alliance plus one. And we hope that that is the spirit that will persist even at a time when there seems to be differences about the ANC-led government of national unity.
So essentially you were snapped by the SACP. They had a central committee over the weekend. They said they would not be coming to Luthuli House for this particular reflection of the GNU. Have they snapped the officials meeting today?
Well, I wouldn't really use the phrase snapping, because that suggests that I formulated a view about why they could not make the bilateral. I think it is for the SACP to clarify that further. But where the ANC stands is that we remain committed. We remain committed to this relationship, and we'd like to think that all of the components of the alliance are still committed to the relationship, and that we can actually go through this period and that we can work out our differences and find a resolution. It's not the first time that there have been differences in the alliance. I recall around 2002, the anti-privatization campaign led by COSATU did cause some ructions in the alliance, but they were able to come, the leaders and membership were able to come together to iron out those differences. It's not new to it, including when the ANC was in exile. And so we are hopeful that we can continue with the collegial spirit that has always characterized the tripartite alliance.
I remember very well in 2002, Thabo Mbeki framed them as the ultra-left led by Mantashe at that particular point.
You won't remember that.
That is Mahlengu Pengu Mutiri, the spokesperson of the ANC. While the SACP did not pitch at Luthuli House for that particular bilateral meeting that was meant to take place between the two organizations, further deepening the divisions between the South African Communist Party and the ANC. Ructions that we last saw back in 2002 and ultimately going towards the 2007 conference and ultimately going to the conference of the ANC, where the relations between the ANC and the SACP had soured to its downtrodden, particularly going back to 2002. It is back at that similar stage now again, with the SACP snubbing that particular bilateral meeting with the ANC officials.
Interesting conversation there, Samkele, and one has to be confused with that celebration, of course, because of the loudspeaker behind you and the dancing. But thank you so much for that, of course, Samkele Maseko, in conversation there with the ANC's national spokesperson, saying that it is not a party for the ANC or by the ANC, but merely a reflection by ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa this afternoon on the 100 days of the GNU. Of course, that address by ANC President Ramaphosa will happen later this evening.